Hello everyone, and welcome to Back to Basics Gaming. Before we get back to the basics here, let's recap on the Terminator. These games are based on a 1984 movie of the same name, and the film is a masterpiece, plain and simple. You can't go wrong with time travel and robots. The movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, along with Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton. Arnold plays the role of the antagonist, a robotic endoskeleton covered in living tissue to make his appearance that of a human being. Or we could just fucking say cyborg for short. The protagonist is Kyle Reese, played by Michael Biehn. On a side note, Biehn has done voice work for the main protagonist in Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and what's even more interesting is that his character in Blood Dragon resembles that of a Terminator. Yeah, an obvious nod to the film and to this genre of movies in the 80s. Okay, so Reese and Arnold are sent back in time for separate reasons. Arnold is to kill Sarah Connor, played by Hamilton, so it prevents her from giving birth to her son who is to be the leader of the human resistance in the future. His existence gives humanity an actual fighting chance against the machines that wage war against the humans in the future. Reese's objective is the opposite. He is to ensure the survival and safety of Sarah Connor, no matter what the cost. Needless to say, these two forces clash throughout the movie. Much of the movie is placed in the quote-unquote present day, with a few flashbacks of the future war here and there. Man versus machine, a simple premise and a simple story, but damn good action and damn good characters that the audience can actually care for. Okay, so, robots, guns, explosions, and car chases? This should prove to make a damn good video game, right? Well, we're going to check them out and see. I will be reviewing several different versions of this game across different consoles, so let's take our own trip to the past to see if we should save and preserve these games or put them up for termination. Okay, so, the game starts up with a black and white picture of the Terminator, and it's accompanied by a funky beat that's actually quite annoying. So our mission starts as Kyle Reese, and we have to make our way to the Skynet base so we may travel back in time. This was never shown in a movie or anything like that, but nevertheless, I am open to original material. Besides, this game would only be like 3 levels if it followed the movie anyways. Okay, so the game starts you off in some sewers. A bad sign for me because, let me tell you, I can't stand any sewer levels in any game. Usually, it's bad news. I will say that the Kyle Reese sprite actually looks good and represents the character in 8-bit fashion well. He also has a gun that he can aim in 3 different directions, forward and up and down diagonal positions. Not too shabby. Terminators are all over the place in the sewers as well. The enemy roster here is pretty basic. Robotic endoskeleton Terminator, mean mugging Terminator with big red gun, turret guns, and toxic waste that drips from the pipes and ceilings. Apart from your machine gun, you will also collect grenades to kinda tip the odds in your favor against these robotic rust traps. They are effective, so if you're crazy like me and you're actually going to play this fucking game, make sure you collect them when you see them. Also, in the beginning of the game, it is very generous with health pickups, but don't get used to that because much later in the game, they will be much harder to come across. Oh yeah, and you have to teabag the hearts and grenades to pick them up as well. Now, here's one of the game's biggest issues. For being a game that puts a heavy focus on platforming, you will find yourself slipping through various platforms over and over. You must be totally precise and spot on, because there is no forgiveness here. It's annoying, and it'll cause many, many unnecessary deaths. Speaking of death, you're given only 2 lives, and I believe for every 50,000 points or so that you earn, you will be awarded with another life. So yeah, the game really doesn't give you much to work with, and no, there are no continues here. Anyways, after battling through this drab, boring looking sewer area, you'll finally make your way to the surface. Terminators and turret guns are here to welcome you as well. Just light them up with your gun and you're good to go. Some of the turrets will be too low to the ground to give you a good shot, so just chuck a grenade at them. Pretty basic and not much to see here. The next area, however, puts you in a truck where an HK will be raining all sorts of hell down on you. Pressing the D-pad forward will allow the truck to speed up, and pressing it back will slow it down. Slowing down may prevent you from getting hit, but in all honesty, I was just doing whatever, hoping for the best. I tried to get off a few shots in here as well, but I really don't know if it was doing much. The next screen continues the chase, and this time you're being chased by another huge machine that challenges you into a good old-fashioned pissing contest. Simply hope for the best. Just unload on the bucket of bolts until it blows up. Eventually it's going to have to. Now, that scene, in all honesty, was a breath of fresh air, especially considering what you have to do next. More god-awful platforming with teeny tiny ledges to jump on. This room reeks of death, and is more than likely one of the hardest rooms in the game. You know what? I think it might actually be the hardest room in the game. The cheap spikes that pop out of the floor don't really help either. But again, the real challenge is dealing with the game's physics and detection, because you will slip through these damn platforms quite a bit, unless you're a Terminator. Speaking of Terminators, it seems that a lot of them in this game don't have great AI. Having a Terminator with shit AI is blasphemy in this franchise, but in this game, it's quite normal. They often like to jump into the bottomless pits. I guess it's okay for these guys to self-terminate. Once you get through this shitty area, you will then be on your way to 1984 to find Sarah Connor and protect her. Now, when this stage kicks off, you'll notice Kyle has different clothes on. In the movie, he has to steal clothes since you can't take anything back in time with you. So that also means say goodbye to your weapons as well. As a matter of fact, say goodbye to your weapons for the rest of the game. Unless you want to count throwing a baseball as a weapon. For the rest of the game, have fun ducking under cops' bullets and punching your way to the next area. And it gets old really fast. This area's roster of enemies include police officers, mohawk punks that don't do anything or even try to hit you when in proximity, and dogs. What is it with these games and fucking hitting dogs? Oh yeah, and don't even try to attack the dogs, as they are stronger than a Terminator and deal more damage than guns. Oh, and don't let me forget to mention that drops of water in this game will fucking hurt you. Of all the dumb shit that can hurt you in any video game. Seriously? Drops of fucking water? Furthermore, the water hurts more than the fucking toxic sludge in the beginning of the game. Whew. With that said, let's push on. Now, once you make your way through this building of bland, uninspired shit, you'll eventually make it to the roof. You know what you do once you get to the roof? Make your way back down. Yeah, wasn't that pointless? All you do here is the same damn thing you did at the beginning of the stage. Duck and punch and deal with crappy platforms. Not much else to say here. At the end of the stage, the game tells you that you found Sarah, even though you never see her anywhere in this damn game. Yeah, that's right. Let's make a Terminator game and not have Sarah in it. Now on to stage 3. Now here's another driving stage, but done in a top-down perspective instead of the side-scrolling view we encountered earlier. Not much I can say about this stage other than it's a hot mess. The car swerves all over the place, even with the slightest touch of the D-pad. This other car here is just trying to bash into you relentlessly to give you a game over.
Game over, man! It's game over!
All you can do is hope and pray that you make it to the end without ripping all the hair out of your fucking head. Once the timer in the upper left is down to 0, consider yourself a very patient person because it's on to the next stage. Once you get through that hell, you will end up in the police station, just like in the movie. This level is pretty much a maze. After 20 minutes of this place, I gave in and used the internet for help. And it's a damn good thing too, because it's pretty much impossible to get through this level without any help. We'll get to that in a minute. So, after blindly running around and punching endless amounts of cops, you'll be pretty fed up with this stage. Then you'll start to wonder, where is the Terminator? In the movie, Arnold wages war in the precinct to find Sarah, hence as to why this police station looks like a bomb just went off in it. Well, take a big guess where he is now. Well, the answer to that isn't too clear, because he sure as fuck isn't anywhere around here. Nope, just cops that you punch to death over and over again. And you would think, with so many armed enemies in this stage, you would be able to pick up a gun, but nope, just duck and punch, duck and punch. Anyways, like I was saying about how it would be impossible to get through this stage without any help from the internet, here's why I said that. In a certain room located in this hellish maze, you will find a box. Pressing the select button will allow you to throw the box, but it does absolutely nothing. Unless you were to know to throw this fucking box towards a hole and then watch it suspend itself in the air and create a platform that will allow you to exit the level. How fucking cryptic is that? No way would I ever have figured this out. And I'm sure back then, when people did manage to figure this out, it was purely accidental. But finally, we are out of this godforsaken stage. So, the next screen will be Sarah prompting you to get the hell out of there. And sounds like a good idea to me. So it cuts into another driving stage nightmare. I guess this is Arnold that's pursuing you. They don't even mention anything about him, but since he's on a motorcycle, I'm going to go on ahead and say that it's safe to assume that it is Arnold. And he'll slam into you and bully you the whole way through the stage. And considering a motorcycle can slam a car all around the stage, just further makes you want to wake up from this nightmare. Take a deep breath and persevere through this stage, and you will find yourself at the final stage. Time to end this game once and for all. Okay, the final stage puts you in the factory, just like in the movie, and the Terminator will constantly be in pursuit of you during the whole level. Maybe I should remind you again, but you have no fucking weapon, just your fist. So guess how you stop the Terminator throughout this whole fucking level? Yep, duck and punch, duck and punch, duck and punch. Flesh and bone versus metal prevails again. And again. And again. Yeah, he's relentless and won't leave you alone, not even for a second. Now, I finally make it through the door and I start moving toward the left of the stage, which leads to a platform that is very far away and it's impossible to jump. Believe me, I fucking tried. Don't even bother. Instead, we have to jump on this platform here and press up on the D-pad to be transported to the upper platform. Then, you have to keep making your way left until you find another doorway and then press down on the D-pad and wait for the Terminator to follow you. And wait. And wait. And keep waiting, because out of all the times he relentlessly pursues you in the stage, he won't do it unless you go through this door here while he is nearby you. Because then the game recognizes you are at the compactor, so the Terminator goes through the door as well and stands there patiently until you can move through the compactor safely without getting squished. Once here, the Terminator will follow and get crushed, and voila, that's it. That's the end of the game. Your reward? A crappy screen saying good job, soldier, and the game cuts back to the title screen. You know that feeling you get after you beat a game? That accomplished feeling? Yeah, well, after you beat this game, the only thing you felt that you accomplished was wasting a few hours of your life. This game makes me want to self-terminate, but I can't. It's not in my objectives. My mission is not over. Must keep reviewing. Must now review Terminator on SNES. Yep, one game down, still 3 to go. They sure were trying to cash in as much as possible on the Terminator, huh? Well, let's hope we have some better luck here. Terminator for SNES. Okay, so, Stage 1 has us back in the future, where Kyle's goal is to shoot his way to Skynet HQ and use a time machine to get back to 1984. The first thing I noticed is the sound of the gun. It's really cheap and robotic sounding. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to have a gun at the very least, but this thing sounds so annoying. And this level is very long too, maybe around 10 minutes or so. And guess what? You get to listen to this the whole entire time. Why not give him a better gun? Why not give him a gun that's, I don't know, more futuristic instead?
Phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range.
Hey, just what you see, pal.
Furthermore, what's even more strange is his jump sounds exactly like the gun. Why the fuck would they do that? Did they not get enough of that annoying sound from the gun? I mean, if they were going to give him a jump sound, couldn't it have been something a little more pleasant? Like the way that Mario sounds? Imagine if Super Mario sounded like this when you're playing. Not a good idea. Okay. Well, as always, let's go on ahead and check out our roster of enemies for this stage. We have Terminators, more Terminators, these strange worm-like mines. If you get too close in their proximity, they crawl towards you like a worm and explode. Floaty things that shoot out more worm mine things. Kind of reminds me of the Lakitu in Super Mario. And there's also more floaty things that just shoot at you. And a couple of stage bosses. One that you may recognize from earlier in the movie. It's cool because it looks like one of the robots in the movie, so at least they are getting some things right here. Also, I'll admit, the part with the truck was actually kind of enjoyable, and probably the high point of the game for me. Actually, now that I think about it, despite some issues here, I enjoyed this level. There's a lot of action going on and a decent variety of enemies to go up against. You pretty much shoot everything in your way, and as for those weird worm mine things, just keep your distance and chuck a grenade at them. The floaty things are kind of a pain in the ass, and that's only because you can aim in two directions, forward and upward diagonal. How they took a step back in the aiming here is beyond me. In the NES version, they gave you 3 different directions to aim. I mean, that is when they gave you a fucking gun, but still 3 different directions. At least lets you aim straight up. It seems lazy. It probably is, because some jackass didn't want to animate it. So anyways, the level goes on for quite a bit, but the game does accommodate you with power-ups, like health, and even a 1-up. During my time with this game, this is the only 1-up I have encountered, so I'm guessing it's kind of like a sympathetic freebie from the developers giving newbies another extra shot at the game. Once you exhaust all your lives, you're back to the title screen. No continues. Once you play through what I consider not too shabby of a level, they'll send you to the past to start your true mission. Find Sarah Connor. You'll find yourself on some rooftops jumping across them like the Tick or something, battling thugs in helicopters throughout the stage. This is where the game goes south very quick. How about, I don't know, taking numerous leaps of faith, hoping to land on platforms you can't see or just aren't there? Or better yet, how about trying to collect items that are placed in such tight spots you'll end up dying over and over? Yep, right here is a great example. Now, all I want to do is grab that health right there and be on my way. That doesn't look so bad, right? Right? Wrong indeed, Arnold. When you jump to different platforms, you have to watch your head, because you'll bump it on the platform directly above you, and this will result in springing you downward quicker, usually resulting in a death. This jump for this health right here is so not worth it. You'll just waste what little lives you have trying to collect this fucking thing. Skip it. Now, the roster of enemies here are as bland as, well, bland can be. Thugs that throw knives, punks that throw molotovs, thugs that shoot guns, and thugs that hide out in windows trying to get a cheap shot off on you. Oh, and then the helicopters. Now this right here, this is the biggest asshole on the stage. Usually you'll encounter them at the very top of the screen, so try to stay away from that area, but sometimes you don't have a choice, such as when you have to fight not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fucking choppers in a row. And if that wasn't enough, then they send another chopper equipped with missiles. Now, I'll accept the latter will stop you in your tracks. Literally. When you engage these normal helicopters, the game will not allow you to move or jump. All you can do is shoot back and pray you take it out before it takes you out. Yes, the game forces you to stay in one spot and fight off a helicopter. And you have to do this 4 times in a row just to get to the end boss that is just another fucking chopper. But at least this time they actually allow you to move. This is fucking cheap. Fuck the damn developers and fuck this game.
Fuck you, asshole.
Okay, enough of that shitty stage. Let's press on and see what we got next. And what we have next is one of the most saddest, miserable, despicable driving stages ever to grace the SNES. The game drives the car for you. You need to focus on moving the car across the screen and not hitting any of the obstacles in your way. And trust me, there's a fucking lot of them. Now, despite that, it still wouldn't be too bad except for one thing. There's a car behind your ass throughout the entire stage that just won't leave you alone. Furthermore, it keeps shooting at you and blows you away to holy hell. Now, you can fire back at the car, but guess what? It does nothing. The car will flash, indicating that you are hitting it, but it never retreats or blows up. I cannot make this shit up. The only thing shooting the car does is, well, keep it from shooting you. So don't let go of that button, because this car will light you up like a Christmas tree if you don't stay on top of him. Furthermore, when the car gets an opportunity to shoot you, the bullets will actually move your car. So that means you're going to hit something in the road and die that way as well. Yes, bullets not only hit, but will move your car for you. Now, at the top of the screen is an indicator as to how close you are to your goal. Just hope and pray you can outlast it and you're home free. But if you die, the counter resets. But not the stage. It just takes up from where it left off. I seriously thought I was making progress despite the fact that I died. Why not just black the screen out and start the mission over like you do on any other stage? Anyways, after many numerous attempts, I actually got the stage beat, done, and over with. So, stage 4 takes place in the police station, I guess. And right off the bat, you're going to notice that you're without a weapon. Yeah, that's right, you don't have a weapon. Oh, wait, let me be more specific. You don't have any ammo, because clearly you can see Reese carrying the gun. Now, have fun running around punching punks and thugs again, like we didn't have enough of that shit from the NES version. Furthermore, just like its NES counterpart, this police station is also a maze. So yeah, have fun running around like a fucking idiot like I did for an hour. The roster of enemies here are the same as Stage 2, with the exception of some cops scattered about randomly that just kneel there, letting off shot after shot. Yeah, they were too lazy to even animate these cops, so they just stand there like statues firing off a round occasionally. They can even kill the thugs as well, so at least they aren't totally useless. And when a thug shoot in their direction, the fucking bullets bounce off of them. Fuck, maybe the cop is a fucking Terminator too. Speaking of Terminator, he is actually in this level. I encountered him a couple times, and that was short-lived, as, well, considering he just killed me instantly. Here's another encounter I had with him as well. Now, let's see here. Look at the top right of the screen. That right there is my health. Now, let's see his shooting pattern. Yeah, you see my point here? No matter what I try or do, I'm already fucking dead. He never stops to reload or anything. Just a continuous stream of shots until I just decided I have to accept my fate and be terminated. And remember, though it may look like I have a weapon, I don't have any ammo for it, so it's not like I can fire back. I need to override my mission parameters here and skip the rest of this game. After encountering this dark, gloomy, sad police station with no ammo and no sense of direction, I threw in the towel. Fuck this game. Get it away from me.
I'll be back.
He's right about that, because he comes back in the Sega Genesis version of the Terminator. These two games are totally different, so let's see if Sega can be our saving grace here and give us a good Terminator game. Now, again, like the other games, this one starts you out in the future. You appear to not start with a gun, but all hope is not lost. The game just decides that it will let you chuck infinite grenades like a madman instead. The game literally starts you with chucking grenades at some big badass robot. So in my opinion, so far, so good. Now I'm chucking grenades at a jet dropping bombs all around me. This game doesn't waste much time getting to the action now, does it? Also, don't forget to pick these things up because you're going to need them to blow open the bigger doors once inside the bunker. Once in here, you will notice a serious red flag. At first, everything's fine. You're blasting open doors and chucking grenades at Terminators, but then you notice the Terminators. They just keep coming. The respawn for these things are a fucking joke. They just keep coming. Take this part for example. After acquiring a gun and picking up some more bombs to breach the doorways, I come to a spot where they never seem to stop. If you notice the score in the upper corner of the screen, it just keeps going up. There's a Terminator at the very edge of the screen on the right that I blast, but after he explodes, instantly another one comes and takes its place. So, just make your way through this bunker and eventually you'll blow something up and make your escape. Not much to be said here, not even a level boss. Oh, and make sure you escape in time, or it's game over. And yep, just one life here. No continues. Now, we go to the past, and make our way to find Sarah Connor. Again. The red flags just keep popping up all over the place. But at least it's not as bad as the SNES version. The game just feels like it's in fast forward for some reason to me. I mean, look at how fast he even goes up the ladders. This game just feels off to me. Hard to explain. Anyways, now you have to navigate your way to a phone booth to trigger the next half of the stage. The roster of enemies include police officers, more choppers, but this time you can just run from them, Molotov throwing punks, again, and that's about it. This level was literally a blur. All I did was just run from one side of the screen to the next, killing what I absolutely had to. Well, you can't even kill the cops. You can stun them for a bit, but death is not an option for these cops, no matter how many times you blast them in the balls with a shotgun. Maybe these cops are Terminators as well. I'm sure the reason as to why you can't kill them is because killing a cop in a game doesn't exactly have a nice ring to it. But if it's such an issue, don't put them in the fucking game. Shooting a cop is almost just as bad as killing one anyways. Just give us a bunch of punks and thugs to wipe out. Anywho, getting back on track here, make your way to the tech noir where Sarah is. Like in the movie, Arnold is here as well. My initial reaction was to light him up as quick as possible and get past him so I can get to Sarah. But that'll just get you killed. Even after he falls down from shooting him. You can't go past him. No. Instead, you have to wait until he's on the ground and flashing. Then you may pass him, and then you can make your way to Sarah. And maybe it's just me, but I find the fact that she's just sitting there in her booth, patiently waiting, quite hilarious. In this stage, there really isn't much to say. Just a couple things. More of the same with shooting / stunning cops and taking out thugs. You will encounter Arnold a couple times throughout the level, but just repeat what you did in Tech Noir, and he shouldn't be a problem. I tried running through this stage as fast as possible, and it proved useful. Two good things here are that Reese is very durable in this game and can take a beating. Secondly, the game gives you health like it's going out of fucking style. Perhaps on a higher difficulty setting, health is more scarce, but even on the normal setting, there's an abundance of it. I encountered some enemies on stairs that are just in your way and bully you back down the stairs in a very ridiculous and annoying manner. You can't shoot upwards, so you're stuck waiting for these idiots to get down the stairs. And trust me, that isn't much fun, especially when you have a Terminator on your ass. If that wasn't enough bullshit, this cheap fucker throwing Molotovs right here takes you out. I was so pissed when this happened to me, I had to go out and get some fresh air.
Nice night for a walk.
Upon returning home, I come to find out I was only one floor away from finding Sarah and getting the hell out of yet another shitty police station level. On to the final level. Yeah, this game only has 4 stages, 1 in the future and 3 in the present, and that's it. Pretty lazy, huh? Yeah, imagine paying $50 back in the day for this pathetic piece of shit. Now, the only enemy you're going to encounter here is the Terminator. Or Terminators. It's debatable, because he appears everywhere in the level, just like the NES version. It's funny when you shoot him too, because he flies off the screen. It's hard seeing him as a threat when you can knock him away that far that fast. Keeps coming at you at a ridiculous rate. You may start to question if he is the only one. I'm going to assume so, considering that's how it is in the movie, and when you kill him at the end of the game, you only kill one. Take this for example. The Terminator crawls on the platform, falls, and on the very next platform, there he is, again, doing the same thing. I haven't found a part in the level where it's literally just raining Terminators because of this hellish respawn. It looks goofy as hell, and it's hilarious to see such nonsense. Also, I know most games with their last level tend to make it a bit more challenging, but this level, it was the easiest. Simply just make your way from left to right until you see Sarah at the compactor. Join up with her, and the Terminator will be crushed, thus ending the game. You could beat this game in 30 minutes if you wanted. Hell, probably even less. It's a hot mess of a game.
Fuck you, asshole.
It's time to end this war I'm waging with these games. It's hopeless. I need help. I need a ray of hope in one of these damn games. If I keep this shit up, it's going to kill me.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yes, I want to live, but I don't want to live in a future where there isn't a single good Terminator game. But wait. Amongst the ashes and through the fire, there is one game that emerges to bring mankind to victory, and it's the Terminator on Sega CD. Can this game be our champion? I'll just get down to the nitty-gritty on this one. Fuck yes. Who would have thought a Sega CD game would save the day? Let me say that again. A Sega CD game has saved the day. This game has everything that a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up should have. Let's check it out. The game starts out with footage from the movie and one of them infamous, shitty Sega CD blurred videos. After that cutscene, you go into the game. It don't look half bad, and it's the best looking game we played thus far. Reese can also aim in various directions, forward, up, diagonally. He can also shoot while jumping and can also take auto aim at enemies when you're going up and down the stairs. For the most part, this mechanic worked out well for me, with only maybe one or two instances where it played against me. He can also shoot from ladders as well, and if you have an enemy right underneath you while on a ladder, and let's say you have grenades on you, Reese will simply just drop the grenade on the enemy's head, preventing you from having to take a cheap shot. The roster of enemies is basic again, as it's just Terminators, turrets, the occasional wheeled machine that shoots and scoots along, but that's good enough for me. Anyways, enough about them. Let's get to another great point about this game, the music. This soundtrack is some of the best music I ever heard in a game. Plain and simple, this music rocks. The levels set in the future seem to have the best music, as it has this grainy, desperate sound to it. It goes well with the game, even considering the fact that technically the music should be more synth-like, as it was in the movie, but who gives a shit? Just give us some damn good music to listen to while we blow shit up. This game does just about everything right. Some areas are a bit rough to get past, especially the last level, but it's what a game should have, a challenge. You do get a set number of lives, and the game is generous with giving out additional lives as well, though you will burn through most of them at the last stage. The game is balanced well, and uses the open world of the Terminator to its advantage. 4 levels are placed in the future, while the remaining 4 are placed in the past. This game is very enjoyable. I can't emphasize on that point enough. It does what a Terminator game should do. Kick ass. On a quick little side note, going back to the music, I like all the tracks in the game, but the second level in the past, so I think that would be the 6th level, just doesn't match up with what you're doing in the game. Here, take a quick look and listen. Anyways, all in all, I'm not going to give this game the full review treatment. Just do yourself a favor. If you've never played it, go play it. You won't regret it. I know it's not the greatest game ever made, but if you're a fan of the movie and were constantly disappointed by this, and this, or this, then you owe it to yourself to give it a playthrough. So, there we have it. Terminator for the NES, SNES, Genesis, and Sega CD. I think I made it pretty obvious in this review how I feel about these games, so I'm not going to grade or score them or anything like that, but I will say this. Developers have really disappointed and tried to cash in too easily on this movie. It's bad business, and it's a slap in the face to the consumer and the fans alike. For a movie that is so loved and so damn good, it definitely deserved better than the crap I showed you here today. That is, with the exception of the Sega CD version. And luckily, at least somebody managed to get it right. So that's it. It seems my mission is complete. And one last thing to say to you, you fucking shitty NES, SNES, and Genesis games.
You're terminated, fucker.